Let's make landlords illegal. Let's ban them. No, let's not do that. These are narratives that are being spewed at the moment on the political landscape. We've got the Green Party, Zack, Polanski and the Green Party, literally just this year, 2025, have voted or called for the effective abolition of private landlords. Okay, well, let's explore it. We've got politicians like Jeremy Corbyn who have repeatedly spoken up about the power imbalance between private landlords and tenants. So could this be maybe the beginning of the end of landlordism? It sounds extreme, but I don't think we're far off. The Green Party's policy includes the banning of buy-to-let mortgages. Now, someone really needs to sit down and shake these guys and say, what the heck are you talking about? The banks contribute millions, if not billions, to the UK's GDP every single year, and they employ hundreds of thousands of people who effectively pay taxes and feed their families just off the back of buy-to-let mortgages. So sometimes a lot of these policies sound nice, they sound cute, but in reality, they're not thought out. They plan to abolish buy-to-let mortgages. They want to give tenants the first right to buy a landlord's property, and then they want your rental income to be able to count towards the purchase price. You will notice there isn't direct, let's ban landlords. It's subtle. The political landscape is full of smart-worded, smarmy politicians with cute words. So rather than scaring everyone and saying, let's ban landlords, it's subtle. Although this is quite direct, it's a conversation towards community ownership. It's a conversation towards, we've got to help the tenants. Now, that's fair, but make no mistake, many of these parties are gunning for landlords. Angela Rayner has pushed for tougher standards for landlords, more licensing, tighter regulations. I want you to see this exactly for what it is. It's a plan. It is a pre-prepared plan that's been in the works for a long time to remove landlords. And if you give me a moment, I'm going to tell you exactly why they are trying to get rid of private landlords. And it's not what you think. It's not to help tenants. It's not to make the playground between tenants and landlord fairer. We'll come back to that. But I want to show you the attempts, the number of attempts that the governments have tried to abolish or remove landlords from the equation. We had Section 24, which effectively removed mortgage interest relief, therefore meaning landlords pay taxes on income as opposed to taxes on profit. Now, if you're a tenant and you're watching this, I don't expect any sympathy. Understandable. But I'm asking you to understand what landlords are going through so you can see that they are not the villains, that they are also pawns in this game. We'll talk about it in detail. Then the government introduced licensing schemes to make money from landlords. Ask yourself as a tenant, where's the hundreds of millions that's generated from licensing schemes? Why hasn't that helped you? Why hasn't that gone towards tenants? Where is that money? We've had EPC rule changes. We've had the ban on Section 21. Now we've got the Renters Reform Bill, which is supposed to give tenants more power. We've had all of these things put in place. It's supposed to give the tenant more power. So I ask you this question as a tenant, do you feel like you have more power? Or do you feel as if things have got progressively worse? These policies are not to benefit you. You are being lied to. Now let me explain exactly what's really going on here. Whilst the government attempts to drown out private landlords, the smaller players in the market, they're opening the doors for a darker, gloomier, more evil entity to step in. When private landlords are abolished or made illegal, you will have to deal with corporate landlords. A corporate landlord is an investment company. It's a pension fund. It's a corporation that its sole purpose is driven by profit for its shareholders. Now, I get it. Private landlords have a bad reputation. Some landlords are extremely evil. However, they have a heart. There's a small bit of understanding, but a corporate entity that is driven by return, profit, and results is only going to get difficult for private tenants. If you miss your rent by 1 day, there'll be no negotiation. If you miss your rent by a week, there'll be no flexibility. Now, I want you to catch this. The same corporate entity, the same corporations, these large millionaires and billionaires that have the power to push our government to abolish private landlords, a system that's been around for centuries, do you think they would have power to call in favors for politicians that they've put into power, donations that they've made, and say, hey, we want to change the eviction process? If a tenant does not pay their rent today, or they miss it by a day, or they miss it by a minute, we want you to change the eviction process, and we want to be able to remove them straight away so we can re-rent that property and carry on making profit. Now we've got to have a conversation about which evil we prefer. Now, you might call private landlords evil, you might call corporate landlords evil. Let's call both of them evil, but which evil would you prefer? This is the question you've got to ask yourself. Is there a conversation about abolishing landlords to open the doors and open the gates for corporate entities who are owed favors by some of our politicians? Hey guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Should we abolish landlords? And if we do, are we just opening the gates and opening the doors for corporate evil landlordism?